Welcome. Welcome back to Audiosurf 2, the fourth time that we've done it. Could potentially be the last time for a little while, at least until I finally get an optical drive. But some developments with music recently. I'm wearing my Porter Robinson long sleeve shirt because, as you can see over on the left over there, and I'm sure you already know, but the new Porter Robinson album came out some time ago, and it's like 2 months ago at this point. It's been longer than that since I've done one of these sessions. So while originally the focus was going to be on some other artists, and I mean they're still in there, but it's kind of turned into the Porter Robinson showcase in a lot of ways. But we're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. There's quite a few artists that I want to do along with Porter Robinson. We've got a few from Overworld, so we've got some anime themes in there that I'm sure people will like. I've got some more Silvahound for you, which I used last time. Some older and some newer stuff. Surprisingly, no Owl City this time, I think. We're ignoring our normal quota for that this time, but who else do we have that I'm forgetting? Yeah, some more recent stuff like Louis the Child and Madian. Some old stuff from movies that's probably going to get copyright striked, but we have a way around that. Some Future Cop, some Midnight. It's very electronic oriented, but we've got some different tracks here and there. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'm wearing some intentionally ridiculous DJ-esque apparel tonight. Backwards hat, purposely on the side. They're at an gregarious angle. Porter Robinson shirt. I'm going to do all kinds of extra stuff that I don't usually do with these. I've got some effects and stuff lined up for some songs later to put on. I'm not recording this along with streaming like I normally do because, once again, OBS is giving me issues with some stuff like that. So hopefully the stream is coming through okay, and hopefully that continues to be the case. But, some of the usual ground rules and stuff to cover first, if you haven't been here before. Audiosurf 2 is a music game. Obviously, there are quite a lot of visuals that are not friendly to those with epilepsy or those that have seizures when prone to such things. And so if you're susceptible to that due to lots of flashing lights and stuff, I would stay away from this stream. Because, unfortunately, we can't accommodate you that time for this. There may be times later where I have this edited down in a form to just showcase how the visuals and stuff look, but there's no audio or the music isn't playing. But when all else fails, you can refer to that bar at the bottom of the screen. It will tell you what skin I'm playing and what song that I'm playing at all times, just so you're aware of that. There are some language warnings in some later songs, as well as content warnings. There will be a song that's specifically about self-harm and not wanting to be alive anymore. If those are triggering to you, I will do another warning before that song comes up. It's actually that song right over there, but we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to it. So keep that song in mind, or I will remind you again when we're about to get there. I will be playing because Audiosurf 2 is a game that I like using all kinds of different controllers with, because it's the simplest controller to use, or simplest game to control. You just need movement directions, and like not even forward and back. You kind of just need left and right, and an A button, possibly a B button. But going along with that, I am using my super fancy Hot 42, Hot Pad M16, but on my leverless controller, which kind of has a light show of its own going on with the LEDs. The way the movement works, it's basically having like the giant WASD keys, so I'm just going out of my way to basically have that control scheme that's right over there on my keyboard. But it's fun for me, so let me have my fun. Are starting with a Porter Robinson song. It is going to be Porter Robinson Night. It has occurred to me that I kind of haven't done any nurture songs in any of my playlists here, and that's kind of a crime. I was going to do one a while back, but I think one of the song, or like one of the highways or the skins that I picked, I found it worked better with another song, and so it kind of fell through the cracks and I didn't do it. For this one though, so first off, if you're not familiar with the song, this is Look at the Sky by Porter Robinson from the Nurture album. Fun fact about this one, it was one of the first songs from the new album that I actually heard about back when Nurture was the new album, and he was periodically like when I want to say it was when Get Your Wish was out. There was like he streamed a concert or some kind of set and played a portion of this during that. And then like 2 other singles came out before it. And it's like, what are we doing? But and just like I really like the sound of this song, and it took forever for him to release it in single form. But it's a really good song. I have of course had the album for a while since then, as we all have, for like 2, 3, 4 years now, and it's really good stuff, especially after Worlds. To follow it up with this, and like at worst it's a validation that he's a good artist if you got into him with the Worlds album, and at best it's in many cases it's better than the Worlds album. So just really, really good stuff. The Nurture era is probably my favorite, and I have the shirt from when I saw him at Decadence 2022. He was doing just a DJ set, so not a full concert for him, but it was before the Smile era that we're in now, and so he was still doing Nurture stuff, and he had his song for League of Legends and all of that, which I've already done on a different session. But we're doing Look at the Sky by Porter Robinson, and then for the skin that we're using, you can take one look at it and go, yep, that's the Porter Robinson aesthetic. We are fittingly in the sky. This is Horizon Blossom. I do normally give credit where credit is due. So this skin is by Kaon. That's spelled Kaon for Nancy. So yeah, thanks for this one. This is a good match for the Porter Robinson aesthetics of the time, and it just, like, especially with the title of this one, it really, really fits. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright. Now that was just the warm-up to try and ease in, and now we're gonna get a little more fun. I did mention that in addition to being a night for Porter Robinson, it's also, or was originally meant to be, a night of Overworld songs, so a lot of anime themes. Not that one yet. Where's the other one? Yeah, that one. So this is Odd Future, one of the more recent ones. You may know it as the opening to My Hero Academia Season 3, Part 1. When things were really starting to get exciting with All for One popping up. It was very cool that like one of the best Japanese artists known for making really good themes and stuff was the theme at the time, so it was very exciting. Had a slightly hard time selecting themes, but we're just going to you'll see what I mean in a second. Let's see. So Spectrum. All right. So we're doing Spectrum Flashy Plus, which answers the question of what effects should we put on our skin with yes. An emphatic yes. Alright, but this skin is done by a collaboration by Classified and Mozzie Fox. I'm not sure how uploading it works with two different people, but this is a very cool one. Could eventually become a new favorite. It's just got a lot going on, and hopefully the stream picks it up okay. Let me put on... Oh... Where did the... Oh, they're up top. And then... Let's do... For this one, let's do this one. Yes, we're getting utterly stupid tonight, so just embrace it. Go along with it. Dance with her. Move with her. Alright, that is... Yep. Alright, so the next one we're doing is the Louis the Child and Madian I mentioned. I think you're supposed to call him Louis the Child, but it's like a Michael Rodent situation. It doesn't sound right, so I'm going to keep calling him Louis the Child. Did a collaboration with Madian, or at least Madian's featured on here for vocals. But it's really short, but really, really catchy song, and it's gonna pop off. We're just doing the exact same theme of Spectrum Flashy Plus, because this one works even better for it, and it's crazy. So, lightning round, here we go. Okay. So we've scratched the surface on Porter Robinson a bit, but there's more to come. Like right now. In your ear holes. So the Smile album, I have it. I've listened to it extensively. I was worried about this album like not having as much of an impact on me as his previous two albums, which is, I understand, is a tall order because the last two have been life-changing for me practically. But this one is like, it's like above average, good, I would even say great at times. I don't think it quite gets up to the same level as his older stuff, but it's definitely enough where I can tell he's still the same artist. Like, I don't think he's changed all that much at all, which is a good thing. And it's enough to keep me interested, so it hasn't gone the way of like the recent Andrew McMahon album where I barely listened to it. I listened to a few songs on this album extensively and continue to, so it has held my attention and everything, so it's good. We're good. I'm not going to get to every every song that I've liked off of the album, but I want to do a few. It's not necessarily like the top songs on the album. It's more that, as usual with like the type of game that this is, just some songs work better than others, and then I have some fitting themes, I feel like. So the first one we're going to do is one of the singles that was actually released before the album came out. I think 2 of the 3 are like that. But there will be at least one that maybe some people haven't heard. But Kitsune Maison Freestyle, it's a nice like mellow song, but it does parts of it do capture that Porter Robinson sound, and so I do like it. So there are, fittingly for Porter Robinson type stuff, there are some Kawaii skins. I'm going to do Kawaii Dynamic or Kawaii V2. Something I did forget to mention earlier, some of these skins they have like multiple options, multiple like color palettes that they could choose from, or like multiple backgrounds. So there may be some times where I don't get the exact, like the RNG doesn't work for me and I have to like restart it to try and get something that works better. In this case, apparently it's got quite a few different backgrounds, and apparently some of them are lewd. So I hope one of those doesn't come up. You know how them weebs be with the stuff sometime. But this skin was done by Brandon Giesing. Giesing? Giesing. Kissing. So yeah. The original one is done by someone else, but this one is more, I think, like the highway itself, if I remember correctly, looks a little better, and then it has the variety of the backgrounds, so. But here we go. Kitsune Maison Freestyle by Porter Robinson. Alright, let's go back a bit here. the time is the first half of the 2000s. Shrek has taken over the world. Meanwhile, this little indie movie, comparatively, called Hoodwinked, comes up, exists. The animation does not look good, but it's unironically one of the greatest animated movies of all time. And it's got a bangin', admittedly kind of low budget sounding, but bangin' soundtrack. Todd Edwards doing a few songs, including this one, which has not left my mind for 20 years now. It's a really good song, just kind of straightforward rock. Not really a ballad. Not really an anthem. I'm not really sure what to classify it under. Worse, he's a detective. Yes, but no, if you haven't seen the movie Hoodwinked, animation be damned, give it a watch, because it's really, really, really good. It's just it's so funny. It's doing so many interesting things with the narrative and just like putting the like detective spin on like fairy tale stuff, and just it's so well put together. The second one exists, and we'll just leave it at that. But not seen the sequel, but I've seen the original. It's not as good. It's not as much of a cultural phenomena like this is to me, but this is just a fun one for all you furs and critters out there, because you have feelings. And then for this one, I know it's not like a perfect one-to-one thing, but hear me on this. Is it okay. So it's not going to show a preview here, but and here it's called Taste the Rainbow, but then on the Steam Workshop, I'm pretty sure it goes by Living Color or something like that, or possibly Tunnel. But I like this one because it makes some kind of like Looney Tunes tunnel like effect that kind of works. But I don't know. It's simple, but is this the Sticks and Stones or My Burnett? No, that's Tree Critter. They share a word in the title, so I would understand that. This is the end theme track, I believe. You'll probably recognize it as soon as it starts playing, but this one, it's great. It's my favorite. The whole soundtrack is just really, really good, honestly. It's got some Ben Folds in there, which in itself is pretty special. But yeah, so we're gonna do this skin's gonna do some kind of like Looney Tunes tunnel effect. I think it works. This is by DBN and a squirrel, fittingly. Twitchy made this. Alright. Wii U. No, we're playing on PC. But, content warning. Vile language inbound for this next song. In case that bothers anybody. But, So I did mention earlier I've got more Silvahound for you. And I mentioned last time when I was doing some Silvahound tracks, if you don't remember, they're the artist that did a bunch of songs themed around Has Been Hotel characters, but they were from before the show actually took off, so we maybe had the pilot on YouTube, and so they were like more like character studies. I did mention in that previous Audiosurf session that there was a song that they did for Hell of a Boss, which is a series that I prefer over Has Been Hotel. But it was kind of a different genre, and I didn't really like it as much because of that, and it was just different. Well, I've decided to do it anyway. But no, the song has actually grown on me crazily and has been on my playlist for a long time. It's just fun to listen to. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is about it, but maybe you'll get that vibe too when you hear it. But this song is called Root of All Evil. So it's featuring Erica Lindbeck, who I believe is one of the voices of Luna, the Hellhound. From Hell of a Boss. I'm not sure if it's the one from the pilot or from the show now, or if there was a change there. And then we've got who I assume is a rapper known as the Stupendium, who is kind of doing an impersonation of Blitz. And so it's just kind of those two different perspectives working. They each get a verse and stuff like that, and then some weird sounds here and there around it, and just like very, very crazy lyrics. Yeah. Yep. The Hellhound, because this is Hell of a Boss, the show that, or it's a song themed around Hell of a Boss, the show that she's from. And so yeah, so we've got one of the voice actors of Luna, and then a rapper who's doing an impersonation of Blitz for another verse, and as expected, a lot of coarse language and stuff thrown around. So just be aware of that. But it's a fun song. Her voice actor never changed? Okay. Alright, so then it should be the voice actor for Luna, but I just know Has Been Hotel, apparently a lot of the voices changed, and so I wasn't sure if the same thing happened. What I went with for this one is actually one of the ones I was considering for one of the Silvahound tracks that I played in the previous list, the one for Husk. But this is Rhombus 3. It's just kind of weird. And for that, it kind of works. This is one of the ones that has a bunch of different color palettes and stuff, and so sometimes we can get some good reds and stuff out of it for it to make some more sense. If not, we need a certain background to it, so there can be enough movement and stuff going on. So I may have to restart this a few times. But this one is by some kind of like Audiosurf clan or something, or they're in some other clan, but OKB Vinyl, and then also OKB from Russia. So thanks for this one. This is an unusual one, and you can get some fun variations out of it. So, but yeah, we're gonna do Root of All Evil by Silvahound, Erica Lindbeck, and the Stupendium. Strap in. But so back to Overworld for now. This one is Colors of the Heart, which is, I want to say, the third opening for Blood Plus, the anime. That one was weird because there must have been a lot of separate times that I watched the show, but like I wasn't intensively following the plot, but it has at least 3 incredible intro themes, and that's what held my attention. Yazura no Namida for the first one, and then it's got Season's Call by Hyde, which is very good, and then it has this one, Colors of the Heart by Overworld. So it's I remember Blood Plus for that, if nothing else. Also the word Chiropteran, which is fun. It's fun to say. Chiropteran. But anyway, this is a very good song. It was my favorite Overworld song. If it isn't still, I'm not really sure. It's kind of hard to pick at times. But this is a pretty good one. And then, fittingly, this is going to use another skin I was actually considering for the Husk song that Silvahound did, that I did last time. Where is it? There it is, Nightshade. It's very easy to find because it's got the great big letters on the thing. Okay. But this is a pretty cool one. You might not be able to notice it, but this is actually another skin that uses the album artwork for the background. You might not be able to notice it because it kind of adds a lot of bloom and stuff to it, and so it ends up like really bright. This one especially is just kind of like black and white, and so it's just going to intensify the white, and you might not be able to see anything. There's also a lot of there's almost like a ceiling to it that makes it difficult as well, but it's like a bunch of like ribbons of light effects and stuff that complement what's going on the highway just around you. So, but this is a really cool one. This is by Bullet Fever 409 or 409, which I think I've done something else from them before. But thanks so much for this one. This is a cool one. Do you know what it's time for? More Porter Robinson. Alright, more from the new album, and hopefully Twitch doesn't interrupt it again. This one, okay, so this one was not released as a single, but it is one of my favorite tracks from the album. I'd say probably top 3. Probably top 3, so probably like my second or third favorite from the album. I feel like it's got a lot to say and hits some things just right. It's very catchy too, and that helps. But yeah, Is There Really No Happiness? Interestingly, I have the physical album for this as well. I bought a CD, and the back cover is there really no happiness without this feeling? Which, as you saw, is not what this does. Like I've looked at it, just like nowhere else is it the full title like that, and I just found that interesting. I don't know if it's a misprint or what, but it's interesting. And then that 116 include the crash. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck Frontier Village. Oh no. Okay, so for this one, kind of ironically, because it's kind of a like not happy song, but we're gonna do Good Mood. I feel it fits for some weird reason. I have noticed an issue where this is one of those skins that has like the little like boxes that sort of like simulate waves on the highway, and I've noticed sometimes when playing other highways or skins before this, it will sometimes not load correctly. If I notice that, I will stop it and potentially restart, or I could be doing this warning for no reason and it just works and I just play through the song. But I figured I'd let you know just in case. But this skin is by Chubbs with a Z. Thanks, Chubbs. Yeah, it's got an interesting color for the highway and those waves, and just it stands out. It stands out. It's interesting. But we're doing Is There Really No Happiness by Porter Robinson off the recent album in stores now. One of the things about, a couple things about the new album is like a lot of the songs would be better if they didn't have like random dialogue stuff like that one just had at the end. And there's another one called Year of the Cup that's like half of it is Lil Wayne quotes in between like the actual song. And it's just like, could you not sometimes? But it would be slightly more, would be slightly better or easier to listen to if it weren't for those. But that one's still a good one regardless. They can be fun in some cases. Another thing is I didn't clarify how I have the physical album, and yet I'm playing the songs here. Purchasing the CD from the Porter Robinson store did also give me a digital download eventually. But no, I did get that a lot sooner than I got the physical CD, thankfully. So, but yeah, they're in FLAC quality and all their flaky goodness. So, you're welcome for that. Yep, that's a good one. We'll have one more from the new album in a bit, but spreading things out a little bit here. What are we doing next? Remember? So remember when I said there's another highway that might have the same issue as the one we just played on? That's the next one. Okay. So the next song we're doing is it's really unfortunate that the album art didn't work, because the album art is fantastic and gives you such a great vibe of like what the song is about. But I also had to search high and low for this song because it is just not available in normal places like the iTunes store or Amazon Music or anything. I had to get on some like shady other website and get it. But this is Star Worshipper by Future Cop. It's got the exclamation point, so you got to really drive it home. It's also featuring Diana Jen and Starset, because there's a female vocalist and a rapper included in this. This is one I've technically known for a while. It's one that my brother originally got into. He's been an electronic fan longer than I have. But more recently, although it's like a few years ago at this point probably, but he like played the song again when I know for a fact that he had played it for me before, and it just suddenly hit so much better for me. And it feels like almost every time I listen to it, I still continue to like the song more and more. It's crazy. But it's Future Cop is one of those like 80s vibe artists. I do want to mention kind of sort of, but not really, a content warning. But I do just want to talk about it. There is a line in here where it sounds like they're saying colored kids, but they're not. They're saying color kids, which I don't know what that is or why it's better. Whatever it means, there were probably like 5 better ways to say it than how they said it. But I thought it interesting for the longest time when I thought they were saying colored kids are lining down the block, and I'm like, oh, you can say that in a song still, but no, that's not quite what's going on. I did look up the lyrics and stuff, but it's gonna come up, and you're not gonna be able to not hear it. So, but for this one, since it's Star Worshipper, we've got, let's see, where's that one? I thought it stopped scrolling for a second. I'm like, why? I have so much more. But we've got Hyperstar, where you're gonna hear the song, and like if you've seen the album art and stuff, you hear the song, you're gonna look at this and go, yes, that's it. There's like no way I could pick anything else. But it does have the similar effect going with like the pixel waves. And if that doesn't load correctly, I may have to reboot it up again and stuff, but we'll see. And this skin is by viewers like you. No, I'm kidding. This is by Epicus Jones, who I believe has come up before. I don't remember specifically what skins of theirs we've done in the past, but I definitely remember the name. I had 100% reason to, after all. So yeah, Epicus Jones, thank you for this one. It is absolutely perfect for Star Worshipper. I've gone well out of my way to track down this song and have a legit version of it to play for you. So you better damn well appreciate it. But this is Star Worshipper by Future Cop on the Hyperstar skin. Here we go. Smar said it. That's a secret word of the day. No. The prophecy has been fulfilled. But yes, no. Thank you. Thank you for that validation. But yeah, no, that's just a perfect skin. It's so great. So great for that. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, that's a fantastic song. It just continues to grow on me when I didn't think it could grow on me anymore. It's very hard to remove from playlists and things like that when it comes up, and yeah, I needed to own a version of it, and it was an experience. It was an ordeal to get it. I don't know why. There is a version on iTunes, but it's just like an instrumental version, and that doesn't do it justice. It ain't right. You gotta get that version. But I forget what site I went to. It was like it was similar to like Bandcamp or something like that, but I don't think that's what it was called. I don't know. But I feel like there was a lot of experimentation in this album, and like whereas The Midnight is normally known for like 80s vibes, I feel like this is a very modern sounding electronic song. But it's fairly simple, but I like it a hell of a lot. It has a crazy ass vibe to it. And so it might not be the best for this game, but I wanted to throw it in here anyway, because I really, really like it. So this will be Dream Away by The Midnight, and then I have a nice mellow ambient skin for this one. Which one? Okay. So for this one, we are doing... There it is. Aurora. Last Train always sits well with me. Oh yeah, Last Train is really good. I like Last Train and Brooklyn a lot, but they're more like ballads and slower songs, and so unfortunately they don't work as well for a game like this. But yeah, there's really good stuff on this album. Doesn't this album also have Dance with Somebody? That one's really, really good too. Just like really, really good stuff. Yeah, I'm actually going to... The Midnight is actually going to have the honor of being an artist that I'm going to see live again. I saw them in concert a couple years ago where they were the main attraction. I'm next month, I believe, so in a little under a month I will be going to see them in Denver again, but they are an opener for someone else. But that'll still be cool. Because they have a lot of really, really good stuff. Their most recent album I didn't like as much as a lot of the older stuff that I found leading up to it, but again, there's still a lot of good stuff there, and I do like what I believe is still their most recent song, Silence, which was a collab with Essinger. That's a really good one, has really good vibes. But yeah, really, really good stuff. If you like 80s, or just, I don't know, if you have a heart and a brain in your body, listen to The Midnight. Their shit's really good. I really like the guy's voice, and just everything hits right. It was the kind of thing where, like, this was a band, I've probably talked about this like several times at this point because they've been in like all the other showcases, but this is a band that my brother had found first, and I like agreed to go see them in concert with him, and then as like quote unquote research for that concert, I got more into them than he ever was. I've looked at like practically all their shit, and just like the live stuff, I found like even more stuff from what they played at the concert, and just, oh man, so much good stuff. If you have a heart, change it or die. But that's from the album that I just said. You know what's a good song from that album? Souvenir. I like Souvenir a lot. I don't know if you've listened to that one. Got some really cool lyrics and imagery and stuff in there. But anyway, this Aurora set is just kind of middle of nowhere Arctic vibes. As the name suggests, we do have like Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis stuff, and a lot of snow and all that. And the colors and the sides and stuff will change, so it's dynamic enough to be interesting, but also just kind of like barren and ambient, and so it's good for a song like this that could potentially be seen as a little more mellow, or just like it's all about like the undertones. But this is by Oppa. They have, I think they're trying to make a letter or something before that, but it's like those weird brackets with like a line in between, so it's like an H or like some kind of K or R or something, and then there's an OPA after it. But this is a really cool skin. Thanks so much for it. We're making really good time, I think. We've only got 4 songs left. Okay. This is a song... Putting a song in here that I feel like has been in the running to be added quite a few times, but I haven't done it yet. But this is a song by A Great Big World, who, if the name is familiar to you, they're the ones that did that Say Something song a while back with Christina Aguilera. I think that was with her, but the Say Something, I'm giving up on you. But yes, they are in fact continuing to make music. I've come across them time to time. I know like 3 or 4 other songs from them that are all pretty good. They even have like a Christmas song that's pretty good as well. But yeah, it's kind of a fun song, very like nostalgic, and it talks about kind of wanting to be younger and wanting to go back, which I'm sure we all can relate to. But it makes some fun references to like old games and stuff like that, and things they used to do in like school and old jobs and stuff like that. And it's very fun, has video game sound effects and everything. Yes. So you'll forgive me for my sacrilegious transgressions here, but the song does specifically call out Mario. And while I have quite a few Mario-themed highways, I found they didn't work very well. Rainbow Road is very cool, but I have used it before. And when I tested it with the song, it didn't really quite do it for me. Where are the other ones? Yeah, I've got like ones like Super Mono Brothers and stuff here. There's, Bullet Bill. I've tried these, and they're just kind of like cheaply made. Unfortunately, the Sonic Mario F-Zero one doesn't work, which is a real shame because it's a very interesting combination. But it's like I could play it, but it's going to have error text enveloping the screen like the whole time. It's that bad, so I can't do it. I do have an Outrun one as well, but it kind of doesn't look good either. The one I landed on isn't perfect, but I think it works better. So we're gonna do Green Hill, which is obviously Sonic themed. We're playing as a little rolling Sonic and picking up rings. So hopefully it fits the nostalgic bill well enough. But this is by Giovanni with one N, which I think is kind of weird. Just nothing. It's like Giovanna or something, but they cut it off. It's like Giovan. That's it. But thanks Giovanni. A lot of people tried to do this, and I'm willing to play yours. So So once again, content warning for this song. This song is all about self-harm and not wanting to be alive anymore. So just keep that in mind if you find those triggering. Definitely, I do a non-existent mixtape of me. Okay. But yeah, this, I feel like when the first 4 singles released for this album, this was probably like my number 2. But now that the whole album is out, I think this has actually jumped to my favorite song off of the album. I feel like it is the most important track and has the most to say. And is probably the most Porter out of all the songs for a lot of reasons. The self-harm and stuff and all that kind of helps. You just go, yep, that's Porter. But as I mentioned before, I do have the physical version of this album. I was especially excited to get a physical version of this, to get a lyric book, which is always nice to confirm a few things. But this particular song has a specific lyric. I would like to read an excerpt, if I may. Let's see. Yes, here we are. YouTube review. Funny monkey takes a piss into his own mouth. Crazy. Poetry. So, you can look forward to finding that line if you're not familiar with the song. But, this is a long one, and it took me a long time. It was tough to find a highway that worked. I was fighting between a few of them. Oddly enough, a few that have a lot of variations. The one I went with still does, but Colorful Darkness is another one that would be good for Dream Away, I think, but I did already use that one for another Midnight song, no less. So. Oh, it's here at the very fucking bottom. Thank you so much. But we're going with Colored Space, which kind of unfortunately the camera is like very distant from where we are on the road. But the vibe is very interesting depending on like what colors we end up with. It does get this kind of like heavenly glow at a pivotal part of the song, which is kind of what I'm going for and why I ended up picking it. Because it has variations to the color, I may have to restart a couple times, but all I'm really trying to get is like a contrast of color, so 2 different colors it can switch between. Sometimes it'll do like green and blue or something, and it's like, that's not enough. But we will see. This one is by Zinth. So synth, but with a Z at the beginning instead of an S. But yes, thanks Synth. This is a good one. Alright. And so getting into the emotionally heavy stuff with Russian Roulette by Porter Robinson. Here we go. Now to get even crazier, kind of the big climax of the night, I feel like, is what this next thing is. So normally how things work is I have a specific song that I want to play, and I spend time trying to find a skin that matches it or works best with it. This time kind of went the opposite, so I'm going to pick the skin first because, so last time we did the Undertale Muffet fight, which was pretty cool, with the Addict song by Silvahound, and that was fun. I did find this one. What is it, the Azrael fight? God of Hyperdeath, it's called. And I thought it would be pretty cool to do. But I did not know what song I wanted to do with it. I tried quite a few. I needed something because, like, I have limited knowledge of Undertale as I haven't played it myself, but this I believe is intended to give, like, final boss vibes, or at least one of the final bosses. And so I needed something, but you also have, like, a connection to Azrael. And so I figure you needed something with the emotion that it needed, as well as the intensity of, like, a boss fight. I heard Kids DeviantArt OC. Oh man. Yes. But yeah, so I feel like we needed something with emotion, but also intensity. So what I ended up with, and hopefully you can back me up on this, I ended up on a song by Virtual Self, who, if you don't know Virtual Self, it's Porter Robinson. I'm gonna just be upfront with you. It's Porter Robinson. He had a period between Worlds and Nurture where he was apparently going through some stuff and felt the need to not make music under Porter Robinson for a bit. And so it's basically just an EP that he put out. But I kind of see it's kind of like older sounding stuff. There's a lot of it's kind of almost like back to roots kind of sounds. It's almost got some like 90s or like turn of the century techno vibes to it, like almost stuff you'd find in like a Dance Dance Revolution game at times. There's a lot of like amen breaks and stuff in there, like some really classic stuff you would expect. But at times it also kind of gives like 80s or like 90s RPG type vibes, and I believe there are some anime quotes in there as well, so I feel like all of that kind of fits this. But at least to me, a couple of the songs are like there are some that are distinctly different from what Porter normally puts out, I would say, and then there are a couple that are just like, oh, that's a Porter Robinson song. Like if you listen to Key, that's a Porter Robinson instrumental track, like, in my opinion. And then so this is one of the more Porter sounding ones, I think, and I think it's actually my favorite Virtual Self. I think I ended up liking all of them except for Ghost Voices or whatever, which is like the famous one. It does fit, not perfectly. Okay, nice. You can see where I'm coming from at least, but there's some intensity to this. There's like emotional piano stuff in the build-ups, leading into this like crazy electronic stuff, just like thumping bass and all that for the intense parts. And then there's also this emotion with these like anime quotes or wherever they took them from, which I also found especially fitting, saying like it's your heart, the beating of your heart they really want, I believe is one of them. And like all the Undertale battles, I know you're like the heart moving the cursor around and stuff like that. And so I thought I heard that and I was like, wait a minute. But yeah, I did try a bunch of stuff with it. Before this, I tried, Smar mentioned it earlier, but I tried Something Comforting by Porter before this, because I thought that would kind of work too. But this is what I ended up on. I think it fits the vibe pretty well. And who could possibly do this God of Hyperdeath skin? It has to be the one, the only, Simon Evo. He's made feels like half of the skins that I've done over all these Audiosurf streams. A lot less this time around, surprisingly, although I think some of them were revisions or new versions, and Simon Evo did the original one, and just but he had been around. He had been around, but yeah, this is a pretty cool skin. So we're gonna do Particle Arts by Virtual Self on the Undertale God of Hyperdeath skin. So here we go. The big climax of the night. Final boss. Yes. Did the vibes hit there? Did the vibes hit for you again? Was it another yes, that's it moment? The vibes very hit. Awesome. Yes. I tried a few songs to be sure. And I thought that one I thought that one just had to go with it. Really cool stuff. All right. So that was the big climax. I have one more for you, and we're gonna kind of mellow back out to finish. If that sounds good. I've got one more Overworld for you. This one, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure this one is actually used as an opener or an ender in an anime. But I don't know that for a fact. I just happened to stumble upon it back in high school when I was looking for their other songs. I decided to try it out, and I fell in love with it. There is an earlier version of it out there, I think, but what I will be playing is from their all-time best, greatest hits album, essentially. And it is a version specific to that album. I mean, this was readily available on iTunes. I didn't want to go looking for the the original one. I do feel the original one that I listened to is slightly better mixed. It just sounds better, but I had already gone through an ordeal to find another song or two on here. I didn't want to go through all that trouble. When this one is good enough, it's like a 90 versus 100. So but this is just a really nice mellow track. I've liked it for a really long time. I'm probably gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Yasashisa no Shizuku. Just very lovely. I've always loved it. And then the skin for this one is equally mellow and relaxing, I feel like. In the name as well, not just the vibe it gives, but where there it is. Oh, you got the nice text there, thank you. Space Garden. Doesn't it just sound relaxing? It just sounds relaxing. And this is by Gingerbread, who I believe we've had a skin or two from before. But yeah, it's just really nice. I believe it's a simpler color palette. It does blue, light blues and light pinks. And it's got these vaguely Japanese arches that we go through. I think Colored Space and another highway we used have similar ones. excuse me. It's some skin that they go through, or that a bunch of people use from something. But this is a nice skin, just like a nice little pleasant vibe to it. And this will be a nice, pleasant song to mellow out. Hope you like it. As I mentioned earlier, this is probably going to be the last one for a little bit until I finally get an optical drive. I'll never say never, though. If enough songs pop up, despite that, I could be back. But I do need to figure out video editing software and stuff, if I can still use the one I've been using, or if the trial's done for that. I may have to switch to a new one, and that's a whole thing, but it is the process here where most of this is going to get blocked, and then I'm going to have to edit it down and mute the music and all that to get it to work. And I have to use like the Twitch VODs for it instead of actual recording, because I messed with my recording settings more to try and fix one little thing that was going on, and now it's an even bigger issue, and now every time I try to change the settings, my friggin' OBS just freezes and I have to close it, so I don't know. But yeah, I tried to have a little more fun with this one with some effects and stuff that I put up. Hope you guys had fun. According to the chat, the vibes were hitting especially well this time, so that's good. Always nice, because like the whole point of this is just like, hey, here's this song I like, and then here's this random skin that I think goes well with it, and so that's like the whole point. And so to get that called out on specifically is always nice. I do appreciate that. Thanks for the kind words and respecting that. And we'll see what happens next. But thanks so much for hanging out with me, or watching at a later time, whatever the case may be. This will be edited down in the future, and so if you're watching that, thank you. And until next time, I will see you later. Have a good night.